Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Maghribi. I'm from TBI1. So my goal making in this video is to fulfill the final assignment for methodology penelitian with Mem Sri Rahmadani Siregar M. So today I'll be reviewing an undergraduate thesis titled is The Effect of Kahoot Application on Vocabulary Mastery at 8th Grade Student of SMP and 2 Angkola Timur, Tapanuli Selatan, written by Laila Tulhusna Arhab, direct number 212030034, English Education Program, Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Faculty State, Islamic University Sheikh Ali Hasan Ahmad Adari, Padang Sidimpuan in 20 and 25. Now, let's move to the critical analysis. I'll evaluate 5 major components of this thesis. So the first one is research title. Let's start with the title. Title is The Effect of Kahoot Application on Vocabulary Mastery at 8th Grade Student of SMP Negeri 2 Angkola Timur, Tapanuli Selatan. It's clear and specific about the intervention being studied, the Kahoot application, and it identifies the target variable is vocabulary mastery. So it specific the population 8th grade student and it mentioned the exact location. Okay, next to the second is introduction and problem statement. Now let's look at how the research problem was introduced. The first one is the thesis clearly identifies the research gap, such as students have limited vocabulary, difficulty understanding word meanings, and lack of motivation due to boring traditional teaching methods. So these problems are based on real preliminary observation. The researcher interviewed teachers and students at the school. There's a logical progression from problem to solution. So the context is relevant. The researcher acknowledged that today's students are familiar with digital platforms and games, making Kahoot a suitable tool. So next to literature review, let's evaluate the literature reviews. This is where the researcher reviews existing theories and studies. So the first one is there is comprehensive overage of vocabulary theory, types of vocabulary, components, important, and aspect. Here, good explanation of Kahoot. There such as what is it, how to use it, and its advantages and disadvantages. The researchers include relevant previous studies by Anggraina, Aisyah, and Salmia, and Samsudin and Tambunan. There is a clear conceptual framework diagram. So the next is methodology. Let's examine the methodology. This is crucial because it determines whether the findings are trustworthy. The first one is research design. The research use quantitative research. So the research used a true experimental design with pre-test and post-test. Control group design. This is appropriate and strong. Next is sampling. So the strange random assignment of classes to experimental and control group. This is good practice. So the next is the instrument. The test had 25 multiple choice items. For both pre-test and post-test. The items were validated using correlation analysis. And the strength is reliability was tested. Cronbach alpha was 0.83, which is good above 0.70. So major weakness, the test only measure receptive vocabulary, that is recognizing word. It doesn't measure productive vocabulary, actually using those words in speaking or writing. This is a limitation. And the next is data collection. clear procedures for pretest for pretest treatment with Kahoot and post-test. The next is data analysis. So the data analysis is appropriate use of t-test. Using the t-test, normality and homogeneity tests were conducted. Requirement test, normality and homogeneity test. SPSS version 26 was used correctly. So the last is findings and discussion. Finally, let's look at the findings and how they were discussed. So the first one is how were findings presented. I think it's very well clear descriptive statistic, mean median model, standard deviation, deviation, and range, good use of frequency distribution, and histogram to visualize the data. And the next proper hypothesis testing, T count is greater than T table, so the effect is significant. And the last is gain score analyze clearly show 70.07 point improvement in the experimental class versus only 0.8 points in the control classes. And the next, how the findings answer the research question. I think it's absolutely the study clearly show. The first one is vocabulary mastery before using Kahoot was low or mean for 49.60, and after using Kahoot, it improved significant. The score 66.67, and the effect is statistically significant. And what's wrong in the discussion? The researcher connect findings to various research practically change challenges are honestly acknowledged. Some students were confused, there were internet issues, and some didn't have data quota. And the last is good explanation of why Kahoot works. It creates a competitive yet collaborative environment, allows correction, and enables repeated practice. So I think that's all my explanation today. If there are any mistake, I sincerely apologize. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.